Yes. Fighting on angles. This is so easy to do when you know to do it, but it makes you a much better fighter because you're more likely to land your strikes, and the guy you're fighting is less likely to hit you back. That's a recipe for success. It's actually kind of ridiculous, but a lot of professional fighters don't even use angles well. But not you, my friend. You will have all the ninja skills.
So in order to introduce you to the concept of fighting on angles, I want you to imagine a line that connects Tom's and my chins. So if I was to try to punch Tom in the chin, my hands would travel along this line, and if Tom would try to punch me in the chin, his hands travel along that line. If we're both facing each other directly and we're both accurate punchers, which we are, we both have a very good chance of hitting each other in the face, which kind of leaves this fight up to dumb luck. And I don't want to leave it up to dumb luck. I want my skill to reign supreme.
Nothing is more frustrating to me than when the best fighter loses, so don't leave it up to chance.
So for this reason, I'm not going to attack Tom straight forward and backward. I'm going to move off of this line. So, for example, one way I like to attack on an angle is to jab, jab while moving to the left. So Tom's in place, I jab, jab, pop, pop. Now you can see that Tom is still facing forward. I am now facing Tom on an angle. That's why we call this attacking on an angle.
Aha!
So now before Tom's fight can continue, he actually has a movement that he has to make. He has to take the time to turn and face me before he can continue. So that alone is going to kind of deter him. If Tom goes back to facing the direction where he was, he's not going to be able to just reach out and punch me sideways with his right hand. He's not going to have any power there, so I'm reasonably safe. Again, if he hits me in the face with a stupid little arm reach out like that, I'm not concerned about it. If it's not going to do damage, it doesn't really matter.
The further you are from your opponent's center line, the less power he's going to have in any strikes that hit you.
So this is going to be kind of hard for you guys to see at this angle, but it's valid. If Tom has his hands up, my right hand has to go through his arm in order to really land my right straight from this angle. However, if I jab, jab, moving off to my left, pop, pop, I now have like a little tunnel to shoot my arm straight down. His arm doesn't block me. I know maybe you can't really see that from there, but trust me, jab, jab into the left sets up your right cross.
Let me try to show it to you this way. This is the angle that you would have to me before you throw a jab, jab, and you can see how this form is kind of in front of my face. Now I'm just going to keep my arms exactly the way they are, but I'm going to turn my torso so you can see how now it kind of exposes a tunnel to my face. So this is what you would see before the jab, jab, and this is what you would see after the jab, jab. You can see how it kind of opens up the bullseye, which is my face.
Now, I also like to move to the right. You got to be able to move both directions. If you only move one way, you're kind of a one-trick pony. You're predictable, and that kind of makes you suck. So, one of the things I like to do is I throw my right straight. If I throw a right straight, I'm going to push my right leg directly out. So the movement is actually like I'm going to burst off my left leg, moving to the right. So, hit him with my right straight, boom, and I push out, and now I can hit him with another uppercut or another strike, but I basically follow my right hand to the right. So maybe a 1-2 and an angle change. And now I can fire my right hand bop, over the top of his shoulder, and I can hit him with more stuff.
That right hand after moving to the right is kind of like an overhand right. It's not really a direct cross because you have to clear this guy's shoulder. So if you sneak around him, this is what you might see if his shoulder is up and he's protecting himself well. So you got to get over the top of that thing to hit him in the face. That's how it goes.
Now remember, this could be any combo that ends with a right straight. I could throw a 1-2 left uppercut, right straight, move around. I could even throw a left uppercut in there, hit him with another right straight. For right now, I would say it'd be good for you to just practice throwing a right straight, pushing off to the right, and thinking about that counter punch. In either of these examples, whether I'm jab-jabbing off to the left, or I'm throwing a right straight and I'm moving to the right, I'm no longer in front of him after my combo has been thrown. He's still facing the place where I just was. That means I'm safe, he has to update his position, and I'm free to continue throwing attacks. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. That's a really good summary. Nice job, zoomed out, Trav.
So one of the things that I want you to consider is that if you're doing a good job of taking an angle, keep moving in that direction. So if I just hit Tom with a 1-2-3, pow, 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 and I slide to the left kind of the same way I did moving to the right before, hit him with a left hook, jab him again, boom, boom, still moving on that angle. The more you can get to his side, or even if you can get behind him, that's ideal. If I'm facing the back of his head, there's absolutely no way that he can hurt me. So you want to continue the fight moving on an angle. Sometimes you can end up faking the guy out. So I can make a really good push to the left. I throw a 1, 2, 3, I'm jabbing. He turns to face me this way. I can slide back to the right in an effort to take the other angle.
So my worst sport is basketball. And it's not just because white guys can't jump. It's because I can't dribble with my left hand. Shortly after the game starts, the guy figures out that I always go to the right. He starts defending me heavily on that side. I have to switch hands, I lose the ball, and I lose the game. The game of fighting is really no different. If the guy always knows what direction you're going, he can take advantage of it. One example of this would be if the guy always attacks moving this way, I can wait for him to attack, move my head, and throw a huge roundhouse to kind of meet him there. The best basketball players can move in both directions, and you never really know which way they're going. As a result, they get past you and they score a lot of points. The best fighters do the same thing, except scoring points means landing strikes and not getting hit back. If you can land more strikes and your strikes are powerful, you're probably going to win the fight you're in.
A brief side note. So one of the typical behaviors that you might see when you're attacking somebody with a combination is that they duck and cover their head. Now, one of the things you'll also see when somebody's ducking and covering his head is that he'll randomly throw a haymaker or a series of haymakers because they realize they can't just sit there and get punched forever. So that's the typical behavior. By attacking on an angle, I make sure that I'm not going to get hit by the random haymaker. That keeps me safe. Conversely, if I'm the one who's being attacked, and I do end up covering up my head for a second, so Tom throws a combo at me, and he's moving around at an angle, I need to just make sure that I face him, and eventually I move off on my own angle, or I throw a strike back, or whatever happens. If you catch yourself ducking and covering, just get out of it. Throw a punch, move. I don't care if you literally have to run away 5 steps and then turn back around. Get out of there.
So now you know how to attack people on an angle and what not to do if somebody's attacking you. If you want access to a bunch of well-designed lethal combinations, all thrown on an angle and designed to set up ridiculously powerful strikes, go to www.howtofightnow.com. You can type it in up there, or you can click the link in the video description box. Either way, howtofightnow.com, and you will have all the lessons you need to basically beat the crap out of anybody. I'll see you there.